Okay, class, I'm going to go through example 3511 since we didn't have time to cover it in class. And I'm going to do it two ways. I'm going to do it the way the book does it in examples, and then I'm going to do it my way that I learned from the previous textbook that I used. Um, so the book's way of doing this is to imagine that you augmented zeros onto the matrix here. And so then interpret these as equations. And so then the equations are x1 minus 2x3 minus 3x4 equals 0, and x2 plus x3 plus x4 minus 2x5 equals 0. Just kind of interpreting this in terms of system of equations. And then what the book does is it solves for um, x1 and x2 because those are the pivots. So my pivots are here. So solving for x1 and x2, you get x1 equals um, 2x3 plus 3x4, and x2 equals negative x3 minus x4 plus 2x5. And so then if you put those into the generic vector for which this works, then you get like x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. Generic vector is going to equal this vector, which is x1 is 2x3 plus 3x4. X2 is negative x3 minus x4 plus 2x5. And then x3, x4, and x, no, no, x3 and x4 and x5 are free, so they are themselves. Okay, I'm going to go down here and say then, well, then my generic vector, x1, x2, x3, x4, didn't make it long enough, x5, my generic vector is then I can kind of separate all the x3s, x4s, and x5s out. x3 times, where are my x3s? I've got a 2 and a negative 1 and a positive 1, then 0, 0. And then where are my x4s? They are 3 and negative 1 and 0, 1, 0. And where are my x5s? They are 0, 2, 0, 0, 1. And thus, the null space of A equals the span of, I'm going to use a big curly bracket for this, 2, negative 1, 1, 0, 0, and 3, negative 1, 0, 1, 0, and 0, 2, 0, 0, 1. Okay, so that is the book's way of kind of finding the null space of the matrix. So the way that I taught previous classes when I had a different textbook was you set up numbers, and you're gonna need I've got 3 free columns, so I'm gonna need 3 different rows. And so then I'm gonna do this free column, I'll put a 1 there, then 0, 0. And then the other free column, I'll do 0, 1, 0. And then the last free column, I'll go 0, 0, 1. And for this free column, this one here, if you do the opposite of these where it matches their pivot, so like a 2 and then a negative 1, kind of matching this guy, 2 there, up there. So then double check 2 times this vector minus that vector plus that vector will be the 0 vector. So that works. So then go here. Those numbers corresponding to those pivots would be like a positive 3 and a negative 1. And then these numbers corresponding to those pivots would be a 0 and a positive 2. Okay, and so that means that once I've done those, the shortcut is just to say that the null space of A is equal to the span, sorry, I need to say span first, span of these three vectors. So 2, -1, 1, 0, 0, and 3, -1, 0, 1, 0, and 0, 2, 0, 0, 1. And those are the same vectors. They're the same. Okay, so that makes this kind of a shortcut. So our textbook does it on the left in a way that tries to get you to understand all the connections and tries to get you to understand how matrices you can interpret as systems of equations, like solving for some parametrically for these equations is like, well, it has a pattern and it's basically a linear sum of these three vectors. And this shortcut is just like skipping all that and going to finding the numbers. So that's hopefully that helps a little bit for when you're doing the homework.